Imagine raising your hand, taking an oath, and feeling your whole life finally click into place. You studied for the civics test, you paid the fees, and then you waited for years. And finally, you're told that as a naturalized citizen, your status is the same as anyone born here. But now it's 2025, and some folks are wondering if that promise still holds. The AP just profiled Americans who took that oath, and they say that they once felt that it was stable, but now it feels more tenuous at best. In 2024, about 26 million Americans were naturalized citizens. That's roughly half of all immigrants in the country. These people vote, they serve, they raise families, they build businesses. But lately they're getting a different message. In January, the White House signed an executive order aimed at narrowing who qualifies for birthright citizenship, arguing that some children born here aren't truly subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. The courts have blocked it for now, but the signal is clear. The admin is willing to test what the 14th Amendment has meant for over a century. There's also a new Justice Department memo calling for expanded denaturalization. That is stripping citizenship from people accused of serious crimes or labeled national security risks. Denaturalization, at the time of filming, is still rare, but just putting that spotlight on it makes people wonder how firm their place really is. There's new guidance, too, telling immigration officers to look at social media and flag anti-American beliefs when deciding if someone has the good moral character required for citizenship. I wonder if labeling people anti-American could be considered anti-American. Anyway, advocates are warning that dissenting views, especially on issues like Palestine, might now be used against applicants. And alongside all of that, there are immigration raids in places like Chicago and New York where even citizens, naturalized or native-born, have been detained and forced to prove they belong. One investigation found that more than 170 U.S. citizens were held by immigration agents this year alone. Legally, the promise made to naturalized citizens is supposed to be clear. In 1964, the Supreme Court ruled in Schneider v. Rusk that you can't treat these folks as second class. Their rights are of the same dignity and coextensive as anyone born here, except for the presidency. And in Ephraim v. Rusk, the court made it even clearer. Congress can't take away your citizenship unless you willingly give it up. That's the law on paper, but paper doesn't stop a border agent from pulling you aside because you look foreign. Paper doesn't stop fear from creeping in when someone knocks on your door. That's why so many naturalized American citizens are describing this challenging moment in time for them. Because there's not been a change in statute, but there has been a change in the climate. And if people who did everything right start to feel their status is conditional, it erodes the trust that holds a democracy together. Families start hesitating to travel. Some people stop speaking up, afraid that even lawful activism might be read as un-American. It pushes us toward a place where citizenship feels like a contract that can be quietly reimagined later. Heading into 2026, there is a lot to watch. Will the courts keep blocking these executive orders? Will denaturalization stay narrow or will it broaden? Will agencies respond to public pressure or push harder? And for lawmakers and neighbors, the question is simple. Are we willing to defend the idea that once someone earns citizenship in good faith, that bond should be as strong as anyone's? Because that's really what's at stake here. Not just policy, but whether millions of Americans wake up feeling secure in the only home they have. So I'll leave you with this. If your own citizenship ever felt uncertain, even after doing everything right, what would you do? And what kind of country would you want standing on the other side of that fear?